Right, what a great way to start the morning. Beautiful sunrise. Got a breeze happening, so that's pretty good. And leaving Double Island Point, heading to southeast Queensland. Anyway, it's going to be a tough couple of days sail, that's for sure. But we're heading home, and I'm pretty keen to get to my daughter's birthday party, which is in 9 days. So I want to get there in 5 days. Anyway, onwards, next adventure. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a pod of maybe 10 dolphins just there. Oh, there's heaps more of them. There'll be like 20 of them. Maybe they're sending me off. I've tried 3 times to get out through here, and each time the weather's been too rough and I've had to turn back and anchor another night at Double Island. Anyway, it's just over 15 knots today, and I've got to go straight in the wind, so it's not a good recipe, but at least it's better than 25 knots. There it is. Well, a lot of people have been waiting for a Double Island Point. There's a beautiful lake really close to the shore, as you can see, and it's protected by the mountains, and we've got shocking weather coming over. I've actually been here for 4 nights already and tried to sail out 3 times, and there was at one stage 6-metre swells. I went out and it was about 35 knots, and with gusts up to 40 knots, so it was howling. I tried a couple of days later, and a couple of days, so I've been trying to get out, and with today the swells dropped off, and so I investigated the channel in that's been closed for 1 or 2 years into this beautiful lake, and investigated it. Thought, yep, okay, 3/4 tide. With the tide coming in, I'll give it a crack. So sussed it all out, and walking the banks, that sort of thing. But righto, and it was pretty simple. There was an entrance. There's only one real entrance, and straight out, no dramas. Well, so I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. Mowed it in. At one stage, only for a second, I had 2.5 meters under me, and then it was 3 meters the whole way. Get inside, and it's like 4 or 5 meters deep, and so I'm anchored here. It used to be a yachty's paradise in here, because you're away from the ocean swell, which is great. You're tucked in out of the wind, and really safe anchorage. If you did drift, you only run into sandbanks. So it used to be a real yachty's paradise, and hasn't been a yacht in here. I dare say I'm the first one in a long time to be in here. So I've been anchored out there in the ocean for 3-4 nights, and I still have to wait probably 3 more nights before I can before the weather becomes favourable. The winds need to drop, the swells dropped. We did have 4 metre swell and went up to 5 metres, and as you go around the point, the current, I don't know what happens, but it was, I took one set at least 6 metres. It had to have been. They were like walls, mountains of water. And but anyway, an experience. It got the adrenaline going, that's for sure. And I just had the Genoa out. But have a look at this place. Absolutely rapt to be here. And tomorrow the wind will be around about 15 to 18 knots, and I'll be getting out the wing foil and giving it a crack in this lake, because I can't get into trouble. I'm surrounded by sandbanks. If I drift downwind and can't make it, I'll run into a sandbank. I can walk and paddle it back. So I'm anchored smack in the middle of the lake, and very, very happy to be here. I do have my food is starting to get a bit low, but I'll be good for another 4 days, I reckon, 4 or 5 days. And yeah, just really happy to be here. It's a beautiful spot, safe, makes you feel good, a flat night's sleep. Awesome, absolutely awesome. Right, here you can see the entrance. It's almost dead low. The water is flying through, so I'd only recommend coming in on incoming close to the top. But you can see out there's sort of no waves. You've got at low tide there's maybe a metre or so, but over here you can see the channel's dug out quite a bit. You stick close to the banks, it's a bit deeper, and you can see the way in. Just a little curve to the left. Anyway, it is flying out. It's almost dead low, and there's still like dinghies are coming in slowly and quickly, and water for them. But I certainly wouldn't recommend any boat other than a dinghy and a jet ski get through a low tide. Anyway, let's go up to the next mark. Right, this is the next mark, the next point to come in. You can see the water's quite deep here, even at dead low tide. Like, it's pretty much low tide now, and there'd be over 2 metres of water just there between us and the bank. It's flowing through quite quickly, so once again only on an incoming tide close to the top. Okay, and here it is coming into the lagoon, a bit shallower. You've probably got a metre tops. Still enough room for a dinghy and jet ski, nowhere near enough for a boat. And it is howling through. You can see Mojo sitting there in the deepest part of the whole lagoon, 6 metres. Anyway, it is a beautiful day, and I'll check in at high tide. How good is this place, eh? And absolutely so here we are having a look at the entrance to the lagoon at Double Island Point again. Beautiful morning. The wind is starting to ease off, so I think I will be heading out tomorrow. But anyway, I thought I'd point out the structure that's going on. So you basically, over here's the east, you can see the sun, you know, you can see the hills there, the sand dunes. So we enter on an angle like this. We stay close to the outside bar, and then we turn out and we head towards Inskip Point, I guess. And you can see, well, maybe you can't see, but there is the channel is pretty clearly marked where there's no waves breaking. So the waves breaking on either side of us really help us to identify where the sandbank is, where the channel is, I should say. So stay away from the waves and you're in the deep water. So look, I love this place, it's bloody awesome. The only spot, now that I've done some milling around and had a look at it and sussed the place out, the only really deep spot is right here, and the size of maybe a football field, and it's sort of in a circular direction. It's right at the southern end. There are deep little spots there that you could anchor and then have a stern anchor out the back and get in there, because it's very flat. The only negative about this spot is the waves come across the bar and it's a little bit rolly, but if I have to have a winch, that's the only winch I'll have. Down the eastern end, down near, there's a yellow 6-knot marine buoy there, and down that end it's about 3 meters deep at best, sort of thing. Low tide, you know, 2 meters. However, there are these little banks that come up, so I was anchored down there and the boat swung around with the wind in the middle of the night, and I was touching the bottom, and you know, in about just under 2 meters. So catamarans, whatnot, will have a feast down there. But if you draw, you know, I've got a centerboard boat with a lot of weight on it. It's about 700 kilos on it, and I had it, you know, not quite all the way down, but if you draw a bit of water, you really got to aim for this spot here. 6 meters at high, and at low it gets down, you know, whatever it is. It's 4 meters, I guess, something like that. So it's it'd fit half a dozen boats easy. But you can see the boats all out there. They're all sort of anchored in, I guess, behind the lee of the sand dunes, the tallest sand dunes. That's where I was anchored, down there for a few days. This place is a great spot to get away from little swells. However, the irony is you can't get in here with swell. You've got to get in here with bugger all swell, because there used to be, 4 months ago when I was here, there used to be an opening there, there used to be an opening here, and there used to be an opening up there, and now that opening's closed, except at the very top of high, and it's only very, very less than ankle deep. That opening has totally closed, which means this is the only opening that's here. So the water has started rushing in and rushing out on those really low tides. With the really high tides, it gushes through. Don't even try and get through there, and if it's one of those tides. At the moment, it's one of those tides where it's there's not much run and it's looking beautiful. It's not even high tide yet, and so it'd be quite okay to get in there, to get through there right now. So I would say that in the last 4 months, this channel's been dug out. And has it finished being dug out? No way. I would say, I don't know, if 4 months progress is what that's created, in another 4 months, it'll be really good. So at the moment, there's a bit of a spit that comes out at low tide. You know, it's only knee deep sort of thing to walk across here. So definitely only cross it at the top of high, or approaching high, and not in a tide with lots of run, in the slack tide. Anyway, I'll be crossing it tomorrow morning, and I'll be entering from over there, because there's a sand spit that comes out there. I'll be entering over there, cruising along, sticking closer to the surf bank, to the outer bank, and then I'll come across here, then I'll start sticking to that bank, and then it's straight off to Inskip Point. And last time I went, when I crossed it the other day, I was just so keen on looking at the banks as I'm going. I checked my depth a few times and it was quite deep. When I go out, I'll be keeping a closer eye on the depth, because I think a few people are concerned about that, and I should be too. And I'll be taking waypoints as well and letting people know exactly how to get through there. Now, this is my other depth sounder. The other depth sounder I have is my rudder. I pull it up at night so it doesn't sort of wobble around, and when you get a bit of rocking, it knocks a little bit. So I pull it up, and good to dry out what you can, I guess. But I need about 1.7 meters for this to steer my boat. So even though I have a dagger board or a centerboard that goes up and down, I have a big bulb at the bottom and a sail drive with a propeller underneath, so I still need at the minimum to float this boat a metre, and with this running to steer it I need 1.7. so what I do is I ease off the ropes here, and as I cross it, if I hit the bottom it'll kick back just a little bit. So that'll be a good measure tomorrow, is if I do hit the bottom, at the end of it, I check my rudder. If it's still going straight up and down, if it's still vertical, well, I haven't touched the bottom. If it's kicked up a little bit, I might have just snicked the bottom. If it really kicks up and the steering becomes very, very strained and kicks up, comes horizontal, it means I've really got too shallow. So this is a good telltale for me, because I don't always trust depth sounders. In fact, I think I just don't trust them. They give false readings sometimes. So this can't be false. If this goes up, it's definitely I've definitely hit the bottom, and it's definitely shallower than 1.7 meters. Right, we've just crossed, Mojo and I have just crossed that little entrance bar, I guess, the Lagoon bar. Now, I went over in the Willy Weather said the tide was at 1.3 metres. The first time when I came in, it was at 1.6 metres, and it made a difference. So I touched the bottom on the inside, just as I started, touched the bottom, and so I think the depth must have been under 1.7, because that's what my rudder draws. And the rudder bumped just a little bit, and so it would be, I'd estimate, at 1.6 metres. And where the waves were, like the you know, coming into the ocean sort of thing, it bumped a bit harder. So I think it would have been about 1.5 metres there. Otherwise, the middle passage was quite deep, like over 2 metres, over 3 metres sometimes. The middle part's quite deep. And I've noticed the tides, as the tide's running in, a lot of sand is being swept in with it, and when it runs out. So I think that passage will take another 4 months to be dug out before it's really a good passable one. At the moment you can get through, and it's only getting deeper and deeper. But I'd definitely wait. It was I'm about 2 hours away from high tide, but I just needed to go because there's a weather window. So ideally I would have waited another hour and a half for that extra 30 centimetres of water. But anyway, I'm off, and what a wonderful place Double Island Point has been. I've loved it. I've been stuck here for a week, but what a great place to be stuck.